yeah. And I am back. Here I am, sitting here trying really hard to stick with BookTube and actually film regularly, because I think that's one of the things that put me off. Well, not put me off, is you just get into a habit of, if you don't do it enough and not into a routine of it, you just end up not doing it. So this is a book haul, and it's not a book haul where I've gone out and brought all these books in one go. It's just a book haul of books I've accumulated probably over the last, what are we in, April? So probably April last 6-ish months, maybe. I'm not quite sure. It's just some of the books that are new to my bookshelves that I want to share with you guys. Now, some of them have been birthday presents, some of them have been gifted to me through a community on Twitter that I'm part of, and some of them I have brought myself, so I thought I'd share with you some of those books. I will start off with some of the books I've already talked about. Now, these books were in my last video about books I've been really enjoying. So these are the Pages and Co series. It's a trilogy currently, but will be a series. I read the first two books on, so Tilly and the Book Wanderers and Tilly and the Lost Fairy Tales. I read these two on my BorrowBox library, BorrowBox e-reader, and I love them so much I just had to get hold of them. So when the third one came out in September, I had to pre-order it and just get it straight away. And this is absolutely adorable. Now, I wanted them in hardback, and it was really hard to get hold of books in hardback once the paperback has come back out. And I love how I want them to match, which is why we don't really talk about these books up here at the moment, because I haven't got very far in them because the covers won't match. So these two here, I think I got them second hand. They're like almost like a library edition. That's why they've got the plastic covers over them. And then this one I got from somewhere, I can't remember where, but I got it. So these brilliant books. Now, these books I mentioned before about a girl who lives with her grandparents in a bookshop called Pages and Co. And she finds out she can travel into books and pull book characters out of books. And there's some dark things going on amongst this. Not dark that you can't enjoy them, because it is a children's book, so it's not gonna be really dark, but there's some mysterious things going on and some things to solve. So yeah, I would tell you more, but I don't want to spoil the whole entire series, but I really recommend reading them, as I've said before. They're one of the books at the moment I'm recommending to everyone. That is, as well as there's one other book that I'm really recommending to people at the moment, and that is the one I talked about last time, which is Song for a Whale. This one I also read on e-reader, but then had to have this book in my hands because look at it, it's beautiful. This is about a whale called Blue 55 who has a different frequency to other whales and has a different song to whales, and struggle to communicate with other whales is what is thought. And there's a girl in this story who is 12 years old, and she is deaf, and she is struggling to fit in with the community she's in with, and kind of latches on to information she finds out about the whale and wants to help him and eventually go on a big adventure to go visit him. Really good book. So I have got a range of books here. As I've mentioned before, I don't tend to read in one genre. There are a few genres that I may not appear on here as much, like for example crime and thrillers. Don't tend to, I do like them, but I don't tend to read them as much, just because I am a little bit of a wimp and I know that I have too many worries going on in my head without adding things that could be too close to home that could actually happen. But I've got lots of books here. There's children's books, picture books, historical fiction, fantasy, non-fiction. There is one thrillery kind of book, children's books. I'm a big children's book lover, and yeah. So let's get away. I will start with a children's book. So we've got loads of picture books to share with you guys. So the first one is, I've got quite a few classics. So 5 Minute Piece by Jill Murphy. She wrote the Worst Witch series. Jill Murphy's kind of a classic, and I used to love reading these as a child, mostly because there was a character in here whose name was Laura. So I really enjoy these books. I only got this one at the moment, but I would like to get a hold of a lot more of them. Also, The Large Family is just lovely, but also, did anyone watch Barbar? Is it Barbar? I think it was on Milkshake when they were little, because that has elephants in too, and it just made me think of that. But yeah, 5 minutes piece. Another classic is Sick Man, Julia Donaldson. Now, Julia Donaldson books are amazing. They are just the very basis of good picture books, basically. And I love a rhyme, and she always has really good rhyming in it. And the pictures by Axel Scheffler are absolutely beautiful. Now, this is about a sick man who lives in a family tree, and he goes on a little adventure and has to get back to his home. I've read this a lot with children, and I've also taught some stuff with this book as well. I love books that are able to have so much more into them, so it's really nice to have just a lovely children's book to read, but it also has extra depth and you can take it apart and do other things with it. And we did a lot of stuff around Christmas time with this one. Okay, next up is The Storm Whale. Oh, I'm dropping things on the floor. By Benji Davies. Now, The Storm Whale is a really beautiful book, which you can use to talk about environmental issues as well as other things. And it's about a whale that comes onto the beach. It's a bit like The Snail and the Whale, which I really would like to get my hands on. I am going for a whale theme. So this is a story of a lonely little boy and a whale washed up on the beach, and a friendship that will change both their lives forever. So he finds a whale and tries to make friends, but eventually the whale has to go back to the ocean. It's a really lovely book. This one I've also been in a school where they've taught this one, and that's why I wanted to get my hands on it. Okay, next one is a book I've also read in school. You can see a pattern of some of these. The 5 minutes piece is one that I used to get out from the library as a child. The other two I've taught in school, and this one I've read in school to a year 2 children, but I think it's valuable for a wider age range than just like Key Stage 1. And that is The Fantastically Great Women Who Changed the the World by Kate Pankhurst. Now, obviously, Kate Pankhurst is related to Emmeline Pankhurst. This has beautiful pages. I love books like this that have different pages that talk about wonderful characters. My favourite page, obviously, has to be Jane Austen's page, but they are amazing. We've got Coco Chanel, you've got Frida Kahlo, Marie Curie, Mary Anning, Mrs. Seacole, Amelia Earhart. I would really love to read a YA fiction about Amelia Earhart, so if anyone knows anything that exists on that, I would love to hear about it. If not, I'll just have to write it myself, but I don't think it'll be as good as other people's. So we've got Sacagawea, and then Emmeline Pankhurst, Rosa Parks. I really have you seen, I don't know what, I'm talking as if I'm having a discussion. Have you seen the Doctor Who episode with Rosa Parks in, that's co-written by Mallory Blackman, who is absolute fave, one of my favourite authors. But I really enjoyed that one. But yes, a great book, and it's so important to share with not just girls but also boys, of women who have made such huge contributions to the way we live. And it's it's good that we're talking about these things. Right, final picture book is a beautiful one called The Snow Dragon. Now this one is absolutely beautiful. I'm going to read the back for you because I've not read this one. I just put it on my wish list because it just looked absolutely... Oh, did it have the Northern Lights then? I hadn't seen that page before. Let's get it back. Yes, look at that. It's beautiful artwork. It's that artwork that kind of goes with dots. I can't think of what it's called, but I think they must have used sponging. Anyway, so this book is, you can be late for many things in life, but you should never keep an adventure waiting. In Griselda Bones' gloomy orphanage, daydreaming is banned, skipping is forbidden, and Christmas is well and truly cancelled. But for Phoebe and her sausage dog Herb, is it possible that magic awaits in the swirling snow-filled air? Join them in an enchanted adventure in this beautiful moving story. Look how beautiful. The illustrations are by Fiona Woodcock and it's written by Abby Elphinstone. Why are words not working today? I generally pick this up. I think there's a lot of emotion in this book as well. It just looks beautiful. I can't wait to read that one. Right. World Book Day. One of my favourite days of the year. Happens in March every year, the first Thursday, and it's a little bit different the last couple of years because of pandemic, but I love World Book Day. I miss being able to get a voucher and just the amazingness of World Book Day. It's my favourite day of the year, and so I got some of the World Book Day £1 books. I actually have 3 copies of one of those books, so if anyone would like one, let me know. But I've got a range here. I've got a YA kind of version, a non-fiction one, and a picture book. So the first one I'm going to share with you guys, I need to stop touching my face and touching my hair. Luna Loves World Book Day. This is a cute little picture book. It's about Luna, who is excited to go to school because it's World Book Day, and it goes through all the different things that might happen on World Book Day at school. It's really great for like reception, year 1 kind of age, where you're just starting to have World Book Day and explore what World Book Day is. And obviously, so for some children, it gives them that kind of, gets rid of that bit of anxiety before having it, because World Book Day, sometimes you do tend to have a day off timetable. Not always, but the day tends to be a bit different. You're wearing funny costumes, and yeah, so it kind of explores that, and it's just really lovely. And Luna, there's a Luna series which I hadn't heard of before, and she's also got Luna Loves Library Day and Luna Loves Art, but they're really beautiful pictures about her journey through World Book Day and what happens with that. The next one is the one I've got 3 copies of. I think it just, Amazon kind of messed up and I ended up with 3 copies, but it's a really good non-fiction book, and if you're a big fan of David Attenborough or you just care about the planet and climate change, then these are great books and they're handy to have. These are obviously meant for children, but they're a good simple guide to the planet. This is called Protect the Planet by Jess French, How to Be Kind to Our World and Change the Future, illustrated by Alicia Nandra. And they are really lovely little books. I don't really read non-fiction, but they are quite short with just some key information, really brightly coloured, and I thought they were a great little thing to have. Now I have 3 copies of these. I don't quite know what I'm going to do with them, but you know. Last World Book Day book, that is, and not last book because I've still got a few more to share with you guys, is this one. This is Killjoy by Holly Jackson, and she is a girl who wrote A Good Girl, she's not a girl, she's a woman, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder and Good Girl Bad Blood. These are more like thriller-esque kind of books, and I've wanted to read them, I just haven't got around to. And World Book Day one, I thought that's a great introduction to reading some of these style books, and it was only £1. So I will read the back because it sounds intriguing. So Pippa is not looking forward to a friend's 1920s themed murder mystery party. And when I'm like 1920s murder mystery party, that's kind of just, it made me excited straight away. I love that kind of murder mystery vibes. I do love Agatha Christie books, especially Miss Marple books, because they're not as dark. Like, it's all about like finding who's done it kind of thing. It's not a, this is quite creepy kind of book. But I'm the sort of person who when I was little, used to get creeped out by, there's a book about mermaids. Was it mermaids or dolphins? And I remember reading like the first page of it about a statue with a dolphin or mermaid, and it made me really scared and I had to put it down. But anyway, 1920s themed murder mystery party, but when the game begins, Pip finds herself drawn into the make-believe world of intrigue, deception and murder. As Pip plays detective, teasing out the identity of the killer clue by clue, the murder of the fictional Reginald Remy isn't the only case on her mind. Dun dun dun! I love how quite gripping it is. It's quite a short one, and I might be reading that one today just because I finished the other book I'm reading and I want to read one more before I go back to work on Monday. Okay, they are World Book Day books done. I've got a couple of children's books more to show you. So this is The Day I Fell Into a Fairy Tale, which I thought was going to be very similar to Pages & Co., the whole idea of going into a fairy tale, but this takes a different turn. So it starts off in a shopping more, I think. So once upon a time, Lana and her brother Harrison would spend hours playing together. Then one day, Harrison decides he was too grown up for games. Lana misses her brother until a magical supermarket suddenly appears one night and changes everything. Hidden amongst the shelves is a portal to the world of fairy tales, but not the one where everyone gets a happy ever after. These are the real stories, the dangerous ones that only brave children should read, and Lana must summon all her courage because the fairy tale world is in danger. Can she convince Harrison to join her to believe again before it's too late? This kind of reminds me a little bit of Tinkerbell when they try and get them, in Hook especially, when they get them to try and believe in fairies again to bring back Tink's light. I do love how there's a bit of a mystery to it. I do love how there's like a time ticking, she has to get something done. And I do love that it wasn't quite what I was going to be expecting. I thought it was going to be very jump into a fairy books the same way, but it looks like it takes a very different turn on it. So I'm looking forward to this one. Right, so we've got some other books. Now this is technically a children's book, but I'm going to share it anyway and outside of that because I'm seeing it as a classic. And that is The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. Now, I'm a huge fan of the musical, the Wicked musical. I did have the Wicked book by Gregory Maguire. I actually unhauled it. I tried several times to read it, but the language felt like a barrier and I couldn't get past the language into the actual story. And maybe one day I'll try it. I mean, I am one of those people who might pick up a book several years down the line and realise that I'm now ready for that book. But I also was a big fan of Wizard of Oz when I was little. This is a edition that, it says first edition, it's not a first edition, it's a copy of a first edition book. So it's got what would be in the first edition, but it's not the first edition, obviously. If it was, it'd be bloomin' expensive. So it's just a copy of The Wizard of Oz, and it's got lovely illustrations, and I just do love The Wizard of Oz. It's a lovely story, and I used to always act out that I was the Wicked Witch of the West. So when Wicked came along, it made sense why I was so obsessed with it. Okay, so 2 more classics. I collect the little, oh, I've lost the other one, there it is. The little black classics. I've got a big box set with like 80 of them in, and they're like 80p, I think. Let me check. No, it doesn't say on these ones. They're normally like 80p, or these ones are a bit more expensive. They're £1 and £2. And they are little short stories from well-known classical authors, and they're stories that either you might not have heard of, or they're like collections of short poems and things. So I've got 2 of them here. I have got The Suffragettes, which is number 94, and it's a story, it just has an accumulation of all different things about suffragettes. So it's got like the leaflets and pamphlets, the pictures and advertising and newspaper articles and different things, and I'm really excited to look into this one actually, because I do know quite a lot about the suffragettes already, and I've read loads of things about it, but I would like a bit more, I don't know, a bit more like takes me back to the time where you've got the real kind of stuff you would have seen at that point in time. The other one I've got is this, The Dagger When I See Before, is this The Dagger Which I See Before Me, not When, by William Shakespeare. I've always been a big fan of William Shakespeare ever since we did Macbeth and saw Midsummer Night's Dream in primary school. Obviously, Shakespeare's not for everyone. The language can be quite a big barrier, but I just love a bit of Shakespeare. So this is a collection of soliloquies and speeches and that kind of thing from the different Shakespeare plays. So you've got like Henry V, you've got The Winter's Tale, When the Tempest, and Hamlet, and Midsummer Night's Dream, and just different soliloquies that come from his plays, which will be really exciting to read because you can get a little bit from each. Yeah. Non-fiction. This is my last non-fiction, and then I've got some like chunky novels to share with you. So this one is 2021 Guide to the Night Sky. I only got this recently, which means that I've obviously, the first 4 months of the year aren't going to be much use to me, but I got this because for my birthday, and my boyfriend, fiance, gave me a telescope. I've wanted a telescope for years and years, since I was a child, and he remembered this year and got me one. We haven't put it together yet. I'm a bit scared that I'm going to break it if I put it together by myself. But what I love about this book is it gives you, like, each month of the year, it gives you kind of like a view of the stars and constellations you can see, the moon phases, and it also tells you like where the dates, certain dates for the year, so when you're going to see meteor showers, and what stage the moons are going to be, and how close like planets are going to be to the sun. So you can have a look there. And I think it's going to be really useful to have a look. And there's a meteor shower coming up soon, April 22nd to April 23rd, and then there's an April shower that happens, and then it comes to its peak in May. And I'm there going, this means I can actually look it up instead of waiting around for them to go, well, there's a meteor shower. I can actually now know when they're going to happen in advance. So yes. Right, books. So these are historical fiction / fantasy kind of style books. One of these books I should have mentioned in my previous video, and I didn't because I just completely forgot about it. And that is The Familiars by Stacy Halls. And now Stacy Halls has written 2 books. I think there's more now. The Foundling and The Familiars. Now, The Familiars I have read and absolutely adored. It focuses on witchcraft, and it's set in 1612 in Lancashire. It's all about witchcraft accusations, and obviously a familiar is like, it's like a pet, but it's not. It kind of encompasses your spirit and your soul. And this is a rubbish explanation, and my words are going wrong, but I loved this book. It was one of my 5-star reads last year, and I put it on my wish list because I read it on ebooks. And sometimes when you read it in ebooks, it's great, especially when it's from the library because it's free, and then you realise that you love that book and you don't have it anymore and you don't own it. And I know owning things is a different subject, but for me, if I want to have my favourite books on my bookshelf so I can look at them and feel happy every day, and I can pick them up whenever I want. And so I put that on my wish list. And then I also got The Foundlings, which I haven't actually read. This is about 100 years later in London in 1754, and it's based off of London's Foundling Hospital. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say. I haven't read them, so I'm not going to give you a synopsis too much because I could be wrong, but they are lovely books and right up my street. I am a little bit annoyed it's not like an embossed cover, it's one of these glossy covers, and I much more prefer like the matte ones that have like embossing artwork in, but I have the book, so I'm not going to complain. Lovely, lovely. 3 more books to go, and oh, got this as well. Little flying monkey to go with my things. I did put it on my bottom shelf down here with my Wicked Grimweary, but the dog thought it was too fair game on the bottom shelf, so I had to move it up a shelf. Right, 3 more books. We have got this one I was given recently, and it's A Witch in Time with this beautiful cover with those gold embossments. And this is kind of like, I think the typing went off there, can you see? Like that bit, yeah. Anyway, 4 Lives, 1 Woman and Star-Crossed Love. So it takes part in 4 different time periods, 1895, 1932, 1970 and 2012. And it's all about, it sounds like a curse where she's stuck with her lover and through multiple lifetimes under different names and never escaping and ending up in tragic endings. I really like the idea of this. I have read up there, which you can't see, The Next Together and The Last Beginning by Lauren James, which is a huge love. That's not even grammatically sense. I really love the books. It has everything I ever really wanted in a book. It's got historical fiction, time travel, sci-fi, dystopia, romance, and all those aspects. And this seems to have like the magical aspect and the time travel aspect. And I love these sort of books. So this one I'm hoping to read soon. Then I've got 2 other ones that I've got. I've got Philippa Gregory, The Tidelands. Now, I've always wanted to read a Philippa Gregory book. I've never got round to it. I've always wanted to, but just never have. I really loved the BBC adaptation of The White Queen. I know they did The White Princess, and I never got round to reading it. Not reading it, watching it. But this one I've got, it's 1648, and the king is in exile. And it's about a girl called Eleanor who's struggling to make ends meet. And she meets James, a man of status, who needs a place of refuge for the night. And she risks everything to hide him and keep hidden across the treacherous marsh, not knowing if she's leading a spy or an enemy into her life. Sounds intriguing. I can't wait to read. A country at war, a king beheaded, a woman with a dangerous secret. I am a big fan of women's stories in historical fiction, and seeing characters that kind of go sidelong to like big events but are not majorly in that event, so it's just at the time. I just love historical fiction. Last one is The Binding by Bridget Collins. This one is about Emmett Farmer, who's a binder's apprentice, so his job is to handcraft beautiful books. I mean, when you have a book about books, I have to pick it up. And within each book he binds, he captures something unique and extraordinary and memory. If you have something you want to forget, a secret to hide, he can bind it, but you will never have to remember the pain it caused, which is a nice, interesting way of saying you can take your memories and put it off somewhere else, like in Harry Potter with the... can't remember what it's called, but you know what it's called, probably, because, you know. And in a vault in his mentor's workshop, row upon row of books and secrets are meticulously stored and recorded. Then one day, Emmett makes an astonishing discovery. One of the volumes has his name on it. Dun dun dun! Among the reviews by Tracy Chevalier, who's quite... I recognise her name. I don't know what she's written, but I recognise it, and I know it's a big name, but I can't remember what. A rich gothic entertainment that explores what books have trapped in them and reminds us of the power of storytelling. Now, for me, I said that if it's about books, I want it, and if it's going to be telling me about, like, the power of storytelling and things like that, I just find them really magical and amazing. So, I'm not going to do the old-fashioned thing that you used to do on BookTube, where you used to hold all the books you hold, just because they're quite heavy, and I will probably topple them over. So, this was my book haul. Let me know if you've read any of these books and what you think of them, or let me know if you're really intrigued by any of them and you want to get your hands on one of them, or if you've read, for example, The Binding, or you know a book that's similar to The Binding that you think I might like, please recommend it, because I'm always looking out for more books in my kind of area that I would love to read. So I should have some new videos up soon. I don't know when this one's going up. I'm kind of just making it up as I go along. I do have plans to film a tag that I've been tagged in, and there is a readathon that I'm thinking of taking part in. It's quite an interesting one, so hopefully a video will come up soon about that. I'm trying to make these videos shorter, but obviously it's not working. So if you don't like watching 30-minute videos, it looks like you're stuck with it, because I seem to not be able to talk less. So I hope you enjoyed these videos, and I will talk to you all soon, and I can't wait to hear what you say in the comments. So thank you very much, and bye!